A top NASA official says the news media is to blame for 98% of the pressure to launch the doomed Space Shuttle Challenger. In a Washington Post interview, Richard Smith also criticized the Special Presidential Commission. Smith says it is blaming NASA before all the facts are in. He says all the criticism will mean a mass exodus of NASA personnel once the shuttle program gets back on track.
Reporters for putting pressure on NASA to launch Challenger. Smith says, and I quote, "Every time there was a delay, the press would say, look, there's another delay. Here's a bunch of idiots who can't even handle a launch schedule. You think that doesn't have an impact? If you think it doesn't, you're stupid." Also during the interview, Smith said there was a serious flaw in the thiokol process of going to launch and said the company would have to justify its actions. He also predicted a mass exodus of senior NASA officials who may retire after the investigation and blamed the Presidential Commission for possibly damaging NASA's reputation. Shortly after the interview, Smith reportedly called the Post reporter asking that the interview not be published. Richard Smith refused to grant an interview with CNN prior to the Post report, and through a NASA spokesman relayed a rejection of yet another request Saturday, stating he wasn't feeling well. The NASA organization has suffered some uncharacteristic cracks since the Challenger disaster. In addition to the critical John Young memos, another NASA astronaut has now come forward to announce that he has learned equipment failures nearly cost him his life. Astronaut Don Lynn says that during the launch of Challenger last year, one of the solid rocket booster's O-rings failed and a second seal was 80% gone. Lynn says his Spacelab 3 mission came second closest to destruction, and he didn't learn of the problem until after the Challenger disaster. Lynn says he is distressed because astronauts were not being told of the risks of flying the space shuttle. Those concerns will be aired publicly in the near future. In addition to the Presidential Commission, a House subcommittee that oversees NASA will be holding hearings on the astronauts' concerns. The Presidential Commission also appears to be taking a more critical approach to NASA test procedures used in the investigation. The Commission has decided to appoint its own private panel of experts to verify NASA tests used in the investigation that are attempting to recreate the cause of the Challenger tragedy. Tom Intier, CNN at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida.